The road to my loved one's diagnosis was straightforward.
I somewhat agree with that statement. I can't totally agree because it had curves and turns and things unexpected, yet it was pretty straightforward with what they said was going to happen.
One of the challenges that I had was 4 years before my correct diagnosis, I went to the oral surgeon. They did a biopsy. It came negative. And at that point, we were like, okay, so it's negative, and we let it linger for 4 years. As it got a little bit more worse, I would say, the symptoms, and that's when my wife pushed me, and she made an appointment. She told the oral surgeon that this has to be immediate, so I can go and do a checkup, and that's when it was diagnosed as cancer.
I think we got the false sense of security, when he got like the initial biopsy that it was non-cancerous. A lot of other doctors between those 4 years or so saw him, and then they would just ask, oh, did you get the biopsy? And it's like, yes. Okay, and then that's it. Why no one said, things can change, or maybe you should get it biopsied again? See, if we'll have caught it earlier, maybe it wouldn't have been such an extent.
Living with head and neck cancer affects my everyday life.
You can just look at me and see the effects that head and neck cancer has had on me. I lost my voice box, so I speak with a voice prosthesis. I have a hole in my neck. I'll breathe through this hole in my neck for the rest of my life. It affects my taste and my smell and my ability to eat at a speed that I used to eat. It affects so many other things. I have mild degeneration of my cervical spine because of radiation. I should say I had radiation 27 years ago. I had my voice box removed 7 years ago because of radiation damage to the larynx. It basically made it not function at all. So I had trouble breathing and speaking. But the most devastating effect, I think, to me has been because of the laryngectomy and because of losing my voice box. I lost the ability to laugh out loud. And that still is what hurts the most. I can deal with the eating and the swallowing. I can even deal with the, funny voice I have. But to lose the ability to physically react to in a situation where laughter is called for, that's tough. So I'm doing really well. I just wish I could laugh out loud. But I haven't lost my sense of humor.
I thought I was living a very uncomfortable life because of head and neck cancer. But I see my fellow warriors here and heroes here, right? I mean, what they went through and what they go through in their lives, I think, no, I'm fine. I live, I know I make certain adjustments. I have to chew from the right side because I don't have the left side. I don't have sensation on some side. Those things are there. Those will never go away. But does it affect my normal functioning of life? Not as much, right? I know there's a lot of emotional scars and everything else, but taking that aside, I feel I continue to live a normal life.
So I have spasms in my neck all the time, kind of every day. So I am reminded every time I try to raise my arm or try to lift something, I'm reminded that I had a head and neck cancer. Now, I still lead a fairly active life, but I am very aware because of the things that my body still experiences that I was treated for a head and neck cancer. And I think the other way that it affects my everyday life is my perspective on life has changed. When I was going through that treatment, I realized that we only have one life. One. And I am now fighting to stay in it. And I could give up hope and let it take me, or I could have hope that I was going to get through it. I tell people all the time that the time that I was going through the treatment from that cancer was perhaps the most fearless time in my life, because I knew that I was getting the treatment that I needed, then it wasn't up to me. So don't worry about it. But like even right now, as I'm speaking, I'm having spasms in my neck, and it's tugging on me, and you can see the tightness come up there, and that just hits me. It's a side effect, and it's something that I live with, but as everyone has said, it's just something you learn to live with.
At the time of my diagnosis, I had small children. I have children that have special needs, and thinking that I might not be. Able to take care of them because they depend. But thank God for the caretakers that I had. And the oncology team that stepped in, they were amazing. And my husband was amazing. So now I live my life. I demand peace for myself. And that's something that I said, you know what, I'll never go back on that. Mine was metastatic. I still have to constantly see if it's not gonna ever come back in that next area.
I'm getting the support I need for my mental health.
The otolaryngology group at the facility I go to, and specifically my surgeon and oncologist, really believe in a holistic approach to healthcare. These support groups, they're all created and run by the otolaryngology group. So there's a head and neck cancer group, there's a laryngectomy group, and there's a cancer caregiver group. My oncologist, has always preached about a sort of integrative oncology. And so it's not just traditional medicine that plays a major role, but there's also mindfulness that comes in. There's meditation, there's exercise, there's diet, it runs the gamut. And they have people at that group who are versed in all of these specialties. Now I know that's not possible at every hospital. I live in a big city at a major facility, but it's so important to, especially in cancer care, to look beyond just how are you doing physically, because there's an emotional cost to this disease.
So I'm in a situation that I think a lot of people in the country are probably in. I had a great therapist. She left to go have a baby, and so now I'm trying to find a new one, and I really want to find one who is trauma-informed, because what we have gone through is trauma, right? And so I need not just a run-of-the-mill person, but someone to really process what's gone through. I know what I need and want, but the system is just overburdened right now, and it's do I really, as a caregiver, I'm always putting myself last. And so just sort of sifting through, the bog that is mental health care right now is really challenging.
I believe I'm made of more than head and neck cancer.
I'm made of way more than cancer. I say cancer didn't define me, it redesigned me. And I am made of so much more. Even when I was going through treatment and illness and really in the height of it, I used to sit and think, there's a lot of cells that are unhappy, but there's way more that are so happy. So I'd recruit those cells that were really healthy, and they'd go love on the cells that were sad.
I think it is a defining piece, and I want people to know, what has happened to us, and that's really created and crafted who we are, but it's not all we are. I think sometimes people, they don't know what else to ask about, so they're just like, when's the next appointment? Remember that there's a lot of things that we love to do and are interested in, and that we like to focus on beyond just the cancer.
We're definitely made of more. I think that this is just like a challenge that is in your life, and you have to live through it. But then it also makes you stronger. It changes your perspective in life. It changes your goals. It changes your dreams. And then, I feel like it makes you stronger, and then your future changes because of that.
Oh my gosh, I'm made of so much more than cancer. What I went through was tough, and it was grueling, and it was scary. But it helped define the third chapter of my life, the next chapter of my life. I am more fearless. I am more grateful. I feel more blessed than I ever have to be here, to talk to other people who have gone through what I went through. But I live every day the most full I possibly can. To interact, to touch, to give, to receive, to be more human. I don't ever want to say that I'm grateful that I had cancer, because I would not wish that on anyone. But in going through cancer and surviving cancer changed who I am, and it changed my life. And I'm actually grateful for that.